Hey guys, it's Alto here. I'm gonna be making another map feedback video. I made one on Glassworks and Crash said he found it really helpful, so I'm gonna be making another one on Glassworks since I personally love this map, but there are some pretty fatal flaws I've found that it has. So just gonna go around the map and talk about certain things that I've found from both pugging, running over the map, and then scrimming on it, just so that it can get fixed by the time we play the match, since I'd really like to see this map succeed, and I think it has a possibility to be a staple Highlander map in seasons to come. So, first scrim we played on this map went 0-0, and we were pretty even with the other team, but the main reason was due to one gun spot, and that's right here. Stick a gun right here, you cannot get up to it. We've even tested whipping a spy onto these boxes, except this is not able to be jumped, which is an issue. Um, so there's that, and then furthermore, not only can it not be sapped, the NG can sit in spawn, or actually, I need to move that over a bit, but the NG can just sit in spawn and even get cover from the wall of the spawn door and just, you know, rescue range of the gun nonstop. The gun covers the entirety of the point. The only side that it doesn't cover is all the way on this scaffolding. The gun's range is about to here or so. But because that gun requires a full Uber to be taken down, we had some use with, we Ubered in from this left side, at least as far as offense. We started it on the soldier, soldier bombed the NG, killed the NG, demo killed it with fire. But, their NG wasn't even sticking in spawn and just rescue rangering it, so that might not even be effective once this gets out. And the real issue is that because that gun's not ever going to go down on its own, it meant that defense could focus all of the other 8 classes into focusing on holding this upper area. This spam angle for a demo sitting right here, just spamming into here, almost denies entrance into that room entirely on its own. And even if you catch him on a reload, flank is going to be playing here. There's a health pack, and the spawns are so ridiculously close that you're just going to run into spawn, touch Reese up, and then come back. And even if you manage to kill the flank and, you know, get rid of demo fire, you still have a heavy playing half cover on this wall like it's his, you know, like it's his job, which it is, but it's just, there's way too much to push out. And even if you Uber in to this area and kill like 6 people, you're not going to be able to get the gun. If you Uber in and kill the gun, well, I mean, good job, you killed the gun in the NG, but now there's still another 8 people waiting to just drop down and kill you on the point. A couple other things is that many people have felt that spawns for defenders on last were way too short, where a lot of the time you would wipe a team or, you know, get a significant amount of kills on them on second, and then right as you cap, and you'd go to roll into last, only to find that right as you get into this left side, they have 7 or 8 people spawning either in this right side or right on the main door. I believe this door's a little too close to the point, seeing as a pyro can stand and spawn, air blast you off the point, and then go back in. I think that in a lot of other 5CP maps, the points that have the spawn on the same level as the point, like Process and Sunshine, there's a much further distance that you have to walk in order to be able to get on the point. Whereas, it's closer to go from, you know, Gully Wash spawn onto the point, but you also have to drop down, so it's not the same elevation. Sniper sitting in the spawn door is a little unfair sometimes, it felt like, because you can cover all of the left side you need to, you can cover the main entrance, you can cover all 3 exits while in spawn. And spawn sniping happens on certain maps, but you're not able to cover every single entrance like that, and I'm really not a fan of that. Furthermore, the point itself is really, really small, and the cap time's longer than it should be for a point of this size. It's currently feeling like a process cap, so I don't even know the exact times, but 3, maybe 4 seconds when it should be a Badlands, which is like 2, because of the spawn times, they're gonna have pretty much 7 or 8 people up on almost every push, and if you're able to stand on this for 2 seconds against a full team, then you deserve to win the round, rather than need to do it again. But that aside, I think that those are all fairly easily fixed things. This gun especially, there needs to be some kind of ramp to get up here, or even as Arspy suggested, which I don't think is as feasible, but is a possibility of making a balcony that goes just across from here, you know, across the spawn and leads up to there, because there needs to be some way to get up there. Otherwise, you're going to have a snake water situation where there's one gun spot that's ruining a completely good map, and I really don't want to see that happen to this map, because I think there's so many good ideas on it later on that it's just not worth it to lose the map over an unpushable last. One of the things I really do love is that there is no real lobby, so if blue or offense in this offense fails to push into last, red just walks out and they're on the point. It makes capping after a failed push extremely easy, which I think is the way it should be. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And I think it makes the map flow a lot faster. When offense is stalemating outside of last, it's not like Gully Watch where you have second, then you have the shutter into lobby, and then there's last. You're on second, and then you're in last. It's a very quick transition, which means that getting picks and positioning are going to be even more important. There's some cool stuff in this room. Hiding up on top of this sign can be a good spot for soldiers. Then there's getting up on the door in here, which is also, I think that makes this room a little hard to push, and it's really easy for a soldier to hold and catch someone off guard. But as it stands, with 7 people holding this one room, a soldier on that door is the least of offense's worries. Like the dead Archimedes too. That's a nice touch. On second, I personally feel this under area is kind of dead space. It's not really served for anything other than that small health pack. And I think the health spawns are really, really odd, because you got a small pack over here, you've got a small pack down there, you've got a small pack in there, and then, as far as I know, there is nothing on right side of the point. And with this side of the map being the flank side, flank's gonna need packs a lot more than combo is. And yeah, there's a small ammo pack here. Another large complaint is that there is not enough ammo on this map, which I wholeheartedly agree with. You've got a medium pack here. There's nothing really in last. There's a medium pack there, but this is really not going to get used by anyone. And then there's a small pack in there, and there's a medium health pack in the garage entrance, and that's fine. Last is fine. But in terms of second, a lot of the times you're going to be seeing, just some stalemates here, and having a medium that's fairly out of the way if you're going to be holding up, on this area by the point. That's definitely out of the way. There's one small ammo pack for both flanks to fight over, which is just that's a little out there. I'm not entirely sure why that's there. I'd make this at least a medium, if not add another small health pack to it. You have the medium, and then you have the medium back there, and the small one down in the pit. But all I know is that almost every class was constantly complaining about ammo, and we were unfamiliar with the map, so we didn't know where we'd be holding for how long and when to get dispensers up. But I feel like ammo shouldn't be an issue on maps where it's not like, I mean, there's a trade-off of, keep holding this angle and you're eventually going to run out of ammo, but at the same time, you shouldn't be forced to lose a point because your demo heavy and pyro all ran out of ammo and there's not enough on the map to go around between flank and combo. Someone on my team said that the lack of health is a good thing because it makes spam that much more rewarding, and I am inclined to agree with that. I think the way you have the packs set up, I think maybe moving one or adding one into the flank, like maybe adding a small one there, would do a load of good. Even maybe moving it down to like somewhere, I don't know, because this is pretty a one-sided like kit because the red flank's going to be holding this most of the time and just getting height advantage, so that's not even going to be accessible to the offending flank. Offensive flank, not offending flank. I think this is a pretty neat jump. I'm going to probably end up beefing this. Nope, got it. Doesn't really serve much, but yeah, you can get in the elevator with that. Which again, I think is really cool. I really do love this house section, just because I think it provides a lot of sniper cover, and it means that their sniper is generally going to be playing back either in the garage or somewhere in this area, just locking down sight lines. But that means that you can come in from the one door here as a combo, and then get into this house and be very, very safe from sniper cover, and get yourself in a good position to push. This is huge because it makes the map so much faster. You don't need to just sit around a choke tanking both snipers until someone fucks up. And it actually allows things to happen. And then you have risk reward. So if you're in here as a combo, you're vulnerable to being flanked. You're in a very small enclosed area with not that much health, but you can either walk out behind them and maybe get a jump on their sniper. Your demo or your heavy can get up here onto this deck and have a lot of height control, but it opens yourself up. And I think that it's a really good point because a lot of the times it lends itself not to who messed up during the stalemate and got picked, but who's actively playing better during a fight, which very rarely do you see that on 5CP. It's so much of just like posturing for position, and then eventually you'll get that, sniper pick, or their flank will go down at the exact same time that their pyromanics get caught out on like gully watch choke, and you just go in off of that. It's more like you can theoretically go into a 9v9 on second, I feel like, and if you're the better team, you'll genuinely come out ahead, and that's fine. In addition, all the routes we've seen were good pushes. Left, I've already said, is a good push. Coming in here again is something that's good. The height of this wall is perfect for not being able to get sniped immediately after coming in. Easy to get on. And both of the flank pushes both work out really well because if you come in on top, you can get your sniper in here and he provides a lot of support. You have somewhat of a height advantage. If you come in lower, you've got cover. You can rush out, get on and behind them pretty much and either force them into the house where you're going to take to control a second or force them out at the last. But at the same time, it's not like it's an only offensive point. Defense can easily shut down an attack because you can snipe them out once they enter into the point, or you just win, you win a fight with them, and that's how it should be rather than, every fight is predetermined based off of picks. The lobby area is a little hectic. I do think that's not a bad thing though. One of the few health packs is there. I think only having, well, there's a medium health pack there and a small one there and another small one on the other side of that barricade, so it's not too bad. I think as far as holding it to second goes, this is really nice because you're not going to get really sniped from anywhere. I mean, maybe if you're peeking this a little willy-nilly, then yeah, if you might get picked off, but otherwise that leaves like a right side and left side both completely open. And the fact that there's a bunch of different ways in makes it really, easy for flanks to actually do things rather than just running into each other and over again. Honestly, a lot of people saw this and they're like, oh my god, there's so many entrances, but I think this is one of the better designed parts of the map, and the only things that I really have an issue with are more with how they connect to mid. As far as pushing mid, or pushing into second off of mid, this is like a dead area. You have height disadvantage, you're in a narrow space, you can't get up there, which I can respect that, like, not wanting to give mid into flank access, but the fact that when you come in off of here, you can get flanked at any time because you have so little vision, and then you come around and you can't even see this room, means that it's way too easy to get flanked, and it forces you to pretty much come in through this main entrance, which does allow a sniper to sit there and deny it pretty hard. On the reverse, if a team's pushing into mid, this is obviously a really strong sideline to hold, but the fact that there is zero cover on mid outside of this one tiny corner does make it a little unforgiving for a lot of meds, or if you're going to, hold right here. Because if you want to actually be on the point supporting your team with heals as a medic, anytime a sniper wants, he can peek you from here, he can peek you from this side, and he can peek you from, no clip, he can peek you from over here. And not having even a semblance of cover is just really, really punishing, and it's unfair to meds that they should have to, like, not be able to give their team heals because they can get peeked from anywhere. If this barricade were, higher, maybe up to this level, then it'd be a lot easier because, a med could stand here and they would be safe from that angle, or they could stand, on this side and be safe from up there, and so on and so forth. It's just, I feel like there needs to be something, like, like throw us mids a bone here. Let us not get destroyed every single mid fight because the other team's sniper knows how to click on ahead. Now that we've got to mid, I think that the mid fights are fairly chaotic. I haven't seen enough of them to really make a very large statement that I'm comfortable in saying. A lot of teams I've seen roll out to this little choke simply because it gives you cover from flank there. I mean, the main problem I think on these mids is that there's very little cover, which means that snipers pretty much have their own, they control the mids, not through, just sitting in a sight line, but they can just peek you whenever and get away with it. And I think that in terms of like pushing second to mid, I think that's better. I think that encourages, good play and makes it less of just of a snooze fest where you scope in and let go of your movement keys and just watch it choke. But on a mid fight, I don't think that's a good thing at all. It prevents your team from getting aggressive really without killing their sniper. And while there are some neat things like normal classes getting up here, one of the few ammo packs is all the way up here. But and this being one way also is nice. It forces a bit of commitment on one side, and I mean, you can get back from here, but you can't get back up on the high ground without a somewhat lengthy rotation. They're just really chaotic, and even if your team gets some good picks, it's really hard to commit to being aggressive on this mid, simply because if you haven't killed their sniper, he can peek you from, he can peek you from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 if he's super aggressive, different ways that you can't really do anything about, and I feel like that needs to change. And if you are going to give heals, like right here, if you know their snipers in lobby, you're at such a huge disadvantage right there. Other than maybe extending these little barricades up, I don't have an immediate suggestion, so I'm kind of just calling you out without doing much, and I apologize. I'd like to offer something, but I'm not that into map making to really be able to say that, but I feel like that's definitely a problem. And while I don't think it's going to, make or break the map like the gunspot is, I still think it's something that could be fixed and would be nice. Just because the map plays really fast, which again is not a bad thing, and there's a lot of flanks, which again is not a bad thing, but it just feels pretty punishing to a med main that there's so many things working against you, and while playing fast and being in control of the flank can alleviate a lot of that pressure, you shouldn't be set up to fail in a lot of cases. I don't think that's a good thing. But yeah, I know I said that there's a lot of things wrong with it. This video felt like mostly complaining, but to be honest, we played this map in season 10 when it was in the fun season. Didn't get to play it in our match. The other team hated fun, but I've been a fan of it since then. We tested it in season 13, and I liked it then, and I like it even more now. It's a great map that I think is really, really unique. A lot of the 5CP maps we've been seeing, such as that aren't, Gully and Process, such as Snake Water and Sunshine and Glassworks, all felt like the same, the same tired old formula, just with, slightly different paint job and a little bit different of a color change on it. But I feel like this map is actually different, and I think just the whole mid to second area is really unique and not like any other map, and I think it has the potential to be a really fun map that a lot of people will enjoy. While I'm in here, as I said, I think this lower area is a little bit unused, so maybe if there was some way to make this more, I don't know, usable, I don't think it'd be a bad thing, but it's not, it's not really doing much. I know some people on my team are really split about this piece of wood being able to cap with almost complete cover from where the defense is going to be holding. I like it. I think it means that in order to hold second, you have to actually maintain control of the point. So it's not just, it's not something like Gully where you completely give up all of second only to just sit and shutter and then wait for them to get back on the point and then go back out into them or something like that. Although I think it can be a little frustrating sometimes if you're playing back, which sometimes you feel like you have to, especially if they come in on right side and you're playing here. Having someone cap right there completely out of hit scan is a little frustrating, but it's your map, dude. I think you did a really great job on it, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. I just really hope that some of the things I talked about get addressed. The sightlines, I think. Oh, I haven't even talked on the sightlines. Hold on. I'll do this real quick then. There's a couple of sightlines from second into mid that are really problematic. No clip over to them. One of them is if you stand right on this ramp, you can look in between the board and the wall all the way into the right side of mid. So I'm gonna go just straight forward, and that leads you to here on mid. And you can see, I still got no clip on. You can see right through there that this is the sight line, and being able to control so much of lobby is pretty ridiculous. The teams we've played against haven't really found this, and I think that really helps because it means that, or I think it's helped us, but I think that once more teams play it and they find these, it's just gonna turn into another, process or a gully where it's like just, kill the sniper, then you can push, which it isn't, and that's the reason why I love it so much. So that's an issue, and then going into left side, right here, there's a crack in the elevator shaft and that wall, which allows you to shoot all the way into that one gate. So it lets you shoot right in here. And scope. And yeah, you can see going back, it's like in this angle. And because of the fact that you can rotate, you can see a lot of this area, which I think you shouldn't be allowed to be sniped here unless their sniper is playing somewhere that has, a direct sightline on the door, like either on flank side, in which case they're very vulnerable to flank, or if they're playing a lot further up, playing like right here or so, which is still close to flank and on point where they can easily be spammed out. But being able to sit back, completely removed from the fight with like 7 different walls in between you and where they're pushing is going to be really bad. And furthermore, the fact that it's such a tiny hole on both of these means that you're not going to be able to really play around it because you can't, you can't you can't have a medic be pushing up, or any player really, be pushing up this side and be expected to look through that one specific crack in there and try to see if there's a sniper watching you, because by the time you do, you're just going to get shot. I feel like there may have been 1 or 2 more sightlines. I know I talked about just the sniper, sitting in lobby, waiting for the team to push, and he just peeks out, kills the med, and backs out of there. But I think that's about it right now. It's a great map, as I said. I think it's just said like a million times. I feel like I think it's got a lot of potential. There's just a couple things holding it back. So anyway, thanks for watching.